Andrew Bridgen's apocalyptic vision is disturbing, as apocalyptic visions tend to be. And he was giving an interview with Doc Malik a week or two ago now, slightly before Rishi Sunak called the general election, and it doesn't change anything. He says that Rishi wanted out and had told the generals that he wanted out. What this means is that Andrew Bridgen is providing another reason to explain away the absurdity of Rishi Sunak calling a general election at such a period of weakness for the Conservative Party after it's only just lost the local elections so profoundly. And after teasing us for so long with hints that the general election would be in the autumn. Andrew Bridgen, of course, is this advocate for the COVID vaccine injured, and he's been standing as an independent in Parliament, having been expelled from the Conservative Party. And he says we are currently at war with Russia, but it's not been announced. And he says that British boots are on the ground in Ukraine operating missile systems, and that Rishi Sunak specifically does not want to be a wartime prime minister, particularly when he knows that we don't have the facilities to engage in an international war, that we have promoted by poking the bear that is armed with nuclear missiles, and Putin has promised to hit British targets should it be proven that British soldiers are on the ground firing at Russian targets. We provided tanks, missiles, taxpayers' money, and specifically Storm Shadow missiles that he says in an interview that he had with the Russian ambassador, Andrei Kelin. So Bridgen has been having interviews with the Russian ambassador, and we think that Bridgen is impartial. Why would anybody be having interviews, be sitting down with the Russian ambassador as an MP? Now, is the Russian ambassador in Bridgen's constituency? I think not. And the Russian ambassador said, well, we know, we have evidence that British troops are firing those Storm Shadow missiles because it's too complicated to teach Ukrainians to do it. This is how the Vietnam War began. And the plan, says Bridgen, is to inform the country in July or August that we are actually at war with Russia. And Bridgen says in this interview with Doc Malik, at one point he says, thank God we've got someone like Putin. And then he pulls back from saying that. Of course, Bridgen is both disloyal and dishonourable in this. Putin is not somebody who's going to save anybody. Putin is dead. Putin is hiding out in a Smeg fridge, pushing up a bag of frozen Smedley peas. And if he has any sense of consciousness, it is that he's not quite certain which are the frozen peas and which are his displayed hemorrhoids. But Bridgen draws parallels between Cuba and Ukraine. What he's playing to is the gallery of those people who want to see a conspiracy. He's playing to the gallery of conspiracists who are ignoring the reality that in the end most events in the world are not controlled by a hidden and unidentified cabal of malicious puppeteers. Yeah, of course, we have puppets. We have puppets. Liz Truss is one. But we can't identify the puppeteer because the puppeteer doesn't really exist. Liz Truss's puppet-like antics were the antics of a Pinocchio that is devoid of strings. It doesn't stop her moving in a wooden, ridiculous way. It doesn't stop Jeremy Hunt moving in a wooden, ridiculous way. These people are naturally incompetent, but they are not puppeteered. He says that what we've got is a uniparty where Rishi and Starmer are performing in some sort of grand pantomime, and that the election that we're about to engage in is not an election where it's a race to see who is going to win, but instead it's a baton handover. He talks about Agenda 2030, devised by the World Economic Forum and the globalists to make money. He's wrong. He's wrong. There are people who will want to make money. They're called hedge fund people. They speculate on what goes wrong. If everybody did that, then there'd be a lot of money in one particular place. But it's not true. It's not true. There is no grand conspiracy. He says, he's very convincing in the same way as the Brothers Grimm are very convincing when they collect and retell fairy stories, which have been told again and again and again. But the first time you hear it, you think, oh, wow, Aladdin or Snow White and all those 7 dwarves. Where do you get them from? The point is they don't exist. There are no 7 dwarves mining diamonds in some little mid-German town singing hi ho, it's off to work we go. It's rubbish. It's fantasy. They live in the forest. There is no the forest. He says to make money, you need next week's newspapers today. This is Shadows of the Time Machine, H.G. Wells' time travel novel, which is often famed for being the first time travel piece of fiction. It's not true as well. The first time travel novel is A Christmas Carol, where Dickens makes his main character travel back in time like in the TARDIS. And he's actually there in the past, watching himself. It's not only time travel, but it's Back to the Future. All done by Dickens, long before H.G. Wells and long before the Back to the Future films. And he then says, if you want to make money, you read next week's newspapers today. If you own those newspapers, you know what's in them. No, you don't. No, you don't. This is conspiracy writ large, and Andrew Bridgen needs to be taken with a pinch of salt and spat out.